1 second. Okay, so I'm just gonna share my screen. 1 minute for my screen. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining with Kenya Datathon 2026 Workshop 2. We are, excited again to host this workshop purely online to support you to, participate in the WiDS Global Datathon, which is hosted on Kaggle, and it's on climate change. In this workshop, what we will do is, basically we will give a tutorial, okay? Okay, delete networking, delete networking from the today's session, but today's session, I'll give a quick debrief about last week's session, and then Grace will take over to walk you through a tutorial, something that will help you as you explore how best you can submit solution for the global datathon that is currently ongoing on Kaggle platform. For those of us who were not around last week, 2 weeks before, this year's Datathon challenge is on climate change, basically climate AI. And this is like the 9th annual WiDS Datathon challenge. It's about predicting wildfire impact from infrastructure to equity, right? So in this year's WiDS Datathon, what we are doing is to predict the impacts of wildfires on communities and critical infrastructure. Basically, Grace will dive deeper into that challenge during the tutorial, but I just wanted to give you a very high level. The goal here is basically to develop data-driven and equitable insights that support better preparedness for these climate risks. And this is something that that kind of a solution generalizes to even this to our community or our region, Kenya. Why? Because it's just recently that we had this flooding happening in our country. So it's a very timely challenge to work on and to practice your excellent data science skills on. So that's basically what happened. To participate in that hackathon, I know most of you registered with us, and then if you registered with us, we gave you the link to to register to WiDS Global Datathon. That is the only way, after registering with WiDS Global, it's the only way that if you submit to WiDS and you win the competition, that's the only way you are eligible to win the prize. Otherwise, if you don't register with WiDS Global, then it happens that you win the challenge. They will not award you. You have to register with them. So before the end of this call, let us make sure that we also register with Global WiDS. If you've not registered yet, I'm going to share the link on the chat. And then, just basically that. And by now, I believe we've all signed up to Kaggle. We've all joined the competition, and we are, good. We are good to go, basically. And if you've not, after the tutorial, we can see you and we can help you with that as well. So I think at this point, the rest all about Kaggle onboarding and stuff like that. These are things that we can talk about after the tutorial. When our minds is fresh, I just want to pause here and invite Grace to go ahead to give us the tutorial. At this point, I'll stop sharing, and Grace, please feel free to share your screen. And does anyone have any question about previous Datathon question as we are waiting for Grace? You can drop your questions on the chat as well. Isaac is good, so we are all good. Thanks, Isaac. All right, so Grace, the floor is all yours. I'll mute myself.
Hi guys, maybe you can say hi to me tell us where you're joining us from. It's good to see you again. Let me adjust my volume. I hope I'm audible, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Mic check. Yeah, hi guys, I hope you're doing well. It's good to be back again. Yeah, good to see all of you. Yeah. So, yeah, it's good to be back again. You were with you like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, sorry. Grace, you just muted yourself. Sorry.
Oh no. Oh, sorry about that. You can hear me now? Yeah, thank you. So just as I was saying before I start sharing my screen, maybe from our last meetup, we agreed at least to load the data, like at least do something. So if you've loaded the data on Kaggle, you can type 1. If you've not done anything, you can still type 2, which is still okay, Yeah. Let's be engaging. Let's do it as an interactive session. Yeah, you're gonna learn a lot. Yeah. So if you've done something, type 1. If you've not done anything, just type 2. Yeah, thank you, Jane, for being honest, Yeah. So at this point, seems only Jane and Wangari. Thank you for being honest. Even Karen, oh no. Anyway, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay for the honesty. I also don't have a group. Okay, we'll sort that towards the end. Yeah, now allow me to share my screen. Entire screen. Allow, and yep. So with me, I have 2 notebooks that I'm going to discuss today. And then, so maybe if we start, we can just, do I need, no. So as I start, in our last meetup, just to keep you engaged, or rather to give you the morale, as you can see, the first place, just remember that the first place is going with $3,000. The second place is going with is it that 2,500 something of the sort. So our challenge that we are solving this year is we're trying to predict that when a fire ignites, what are the metrics that can be used to prevent ceasefire. So last time we took our time with Millicent and the team where we helped you guys understand what the challenge is all about and the rest. So with me now, we have just before we dive into the notebook, we talked about what we should expect, what the data entails, and the rest. And so yeah, so today I'll just give you a walkthrough of how the challenge you can solve it. And then I have two notebooks with me because before we start training the model, we literally need to understand what is happening. We literally need to understand the data. And so the first bit of my notebook, as you can see my screen, it's the WiDS Datathon pre-1. I will be doing EDA. Who will tell me what EDA is maybe as I share my screen? Please, you can unmute. It's okay. Let's be engaging. Yeah, Georgina has said exploratory data analysis. Thank you. And basically, for exploratory data analysis, it's the way we're trying to understand our data, like from a high level view. And yeah, as you can see on my screen, I first started by importing the libraries, that is the pandas, the NumPy, the matplotlib, and the seaborn. So that's the very first thing that you do. So I'll not run because I'm able to put comments on the notebook. So later I'll share with you the two notebooks with me. And so basically, the notebooks are used to, or rather, the libraries are used to, they're just a way of communicating data. Like we all know what pandas do, what NumPy does, what matplotlib, and what seaborn does. So maybe if I can ask on the group, what does matplotlib and seaborn do so that you can all be engaging and not take much of your time? Yeah, just unmute. Let it be an open discussion. So we've imported NumPy, imported Panda. So I'm asking, what does matplotlib and seaborn do?
They help in data visualization.
Visualization.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the answers. I love the energy. So that's the very first thing that we do. So we import our libraries in that case, and that is the pandas, the NumPy, and then the pandas and NumPy for reading the data, and then the matplotlib and seaborn for data visualization. Thank you. From there, as after we import our libraries, the next thing I have a comment there, that is the reading of our CSV. And in this case, I'll be going back to our original data, where if you guys remember so well, we had the training data and the test data. You remember, guys? So the very first thing, oh, here it is. We had the training. We had the metadata. We had the training and the test CSV. So the next thing after you import the pandas is you try to understand, like you try to now load your data into your notebook, as I have said. So I loaded the train.csv, which as you can see it's there, and then df.head. Now we start reading our data. I said like we need to have a high overview of our data, which is now df.head. And basically df.head, what it does, it gives you like the first columns, like the first columns in your data. Like in this case, we have the event ID, the numerical perimeters, and the rest. And then it gives you the matrix that this is in 0, this is in 1. And as you can see, we're able to get that our training data, in this case, we have 5 rows and 37 columns. So yeah, so from there, you're able to see the training set columns and the rows. So we go further to check by the df.shape. What does df.shape do? Yeah, you can just unmute. Go ahead. Let's be interactive. It's something we know. We're coming from known to unknown. What does df.head do? Because we said we're now doing exploratory data analysis. We're now trying to we're now trying to understand the metrics of the, you can just unmute because I can't go back to the teams. here and there. What does df.shape do? Nobody?
It
Guys,
shows the
come
number
on.
of rows and columns.
Yeah, thank you. Who is that?
Nora.
Yeah, thank you, Nora. So it shows the number of columns and rows. So in this case, we have 221 rows and 37 columns. Remember, we're still on our train CSV, so we're still doing on our train data set. I went ahead and checked for the tail. The tail is when you look at the last 5 rows and columns of your data, whereby it's df.tail. It's actually the same thing, but now the matrix changes that for here, you're just checking the last 5 rows in that data set. Nice. So we've now loaded the train data set. We've gotten to understand that it has 221 rows and 37 columns. So the next thing that we're going to do, we now load our test data set, which is, in this case, it's the metadata.csv. And I have a comment that I've placed. I really try to write clean code for me. So that I say that train.csv is the primary numerical data set, which contains of 37 related variables, where the metadata serves as a reference guide that provides definitions, units, and categories for each variable. So the first thing is we were able to load our data. What we did, check at the head, check at the shape and the tail as well. That was our training data. Now for our test data, the same thing remains. It cuts across where we load our metadata, in this case, like as I said, and then I check for the head. And you can now see that in our test data, we have fewer rows and fewer columns. We have a column called type, we have a column called category, we have a description, we have the units and the range. And as you can see, like in our test data, we have a lot of what are they called? Like we have a lot of data that is our data is not clean. Rather, we have a lot of null values. So we go ahead and just try to understand the metrics of just digging deep about our data. You can see for the metadata columns, we have the column, the type, the category, the description, and the units. Okay. And now, if I now combine the whole data set in terms of df.columns, I'm able to get the whole analysis of my columns. Like just as I said, we have over 37 columns that are present in that data. So are we guys all together until that part for the reading of the data and loading of your data? You can give me a thumbs up if we are together, or if you have question until there as we dive deep into our data set. So the first thing that you do is exploratory data analysis. Try to load your data, try to check at the columns, try to check like what are the columns present, what is the head, what's the tail, what are the number of columns that you have in the rest. Thank you, Barbara. So we are together. Now from there
Hi,
we
Grace.
now do
Hello,
hi.
Grace.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. The data that you just loaded, you are saying that it was the test data. That's the
Yeah.
metadata. Like
Yeah.
it
Sorry, metadata.
explains more about our data, like the columns. Am I wrong? The
You're
test
very right. You're
data
very
is
right.
written test.csv.
Yeah, it's the metadata. Sorry, I think I'm the one who maybe mentioned it. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Fiona.
Yes. So you're supposed to load the test.csv instead of the metadata.
Yeah, you can still load it. I have 2 notebooks. That, as I said, I have 2 notebooks. I'll still show you the next what I did on the
It's
same
okay.
theme.
It's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Are we together? That's okay.
Yes, that's fine with
Okay,
me.
okay, thank you. Okay, nice. So we go on and now do df.describe, where basically it's used to show the summary statistics of your data. In this case, when I say summary statistics, these are the numerical variables that are present in your data. And basically for the Python command remains, that is df.describe, which is basically, it tells you like the summary statistics of your data. That's why you always hear like data science is all about mathematics. I agree with this, because you're now able to see the count, the mean, the standard deviation, and the rest. So like in our data, we can see like we have 221 entries, and our mean for the event ID, we see like the mean is 5.384, and the rest of the columns. For the standard deviation, it's 2.504. For the minimum, it's 1.04, 1.08. And then what do we call the 25%, the 50%, 75%, and the rest, and then the maximum is that. So basically, the DF describes the summary statistics. That is the numerical variables that are present in your data. It cuts across. That is the count, the mean, the standard deviation, the mode, and the rest. Yeah. So now, are we all together from there? I hope I'm not so fast. We guys, we are working together, right? On the same notebook. Give me a thumbs up because I'm not able to switch from here to here. Give me a thumbs up, guys. Thank you. Nice. So we go, as I said, you will do like before we start training that model, we will first do some comparison, try to understand like what is happening between this column and this column. So from the summary statistics now, you now able to like know the frequency of your unique rows. Like in this case, I'm doing a count. I'm doing a count of the rows that I have. Like as you can see, df.value.count, and yeah, I get the metrics that are there. So if you want to know whether you're right or not, you can see like it gives me 221 rows. And if I'm back here for my summary statistics, I can see like I have 221. So I know I'm correct with what I'm doing. I go ahead. I hope I'm not so fast. And now here I'm going to count the number of unique values that are present in each column. And basically, as I did the number of unique values, I can see it is df.nunique. Just a moment, sorry. Sorry about that. So if I do df.nunique, I'm able to see the number of unique values that are present in each column. I may not be able to mention all the columns, just as I said the other day, that our data is so big, which is so good because it's able to give us like a good prediction model. So I count the number of unique values that are present, and you can see it's well illustrated as well. We go on, and now this is the most important thing. We are now checking. So basically here, let me just, because I'm going to send this notebook after the session. So here we're going to just check. Sorry, what am I doing? We just, so for the next thing, we're now going to check the null values. Like the command for checking the null values is usually df.isNull.sum. And basically you're trying to check whether you have null values in your data, because if you have null values, you can't train a model. So as I did that, I was able to see like at this point, my data is so clean. I don't have any null values as we speak. Somebody speaking? Okay, anybody with a question until there, beyond the null values? Anybody with a question or a comment? I'm going to share my notebook way later after the session. I hope we are all good, right? Give me a thumbs up if you're all good. No questions so far. Thank you, Barbara. We are cruising nicely. So from there, after I check the null values, I also check for the duplicated number of values. I'm trying to see do I have duplicates in my data? Like, are there columns that are repeated? Like, do I have like duplicate number of columns in my data? And that's why, like last time, I really emphasized on not dropping columns at the first thing, because you start dropping columns, and then you're there, you get like some columns have null values, some are duplicated. So it's always a best practice as you're training your model to just flow with the move, and then you'll drop the columns way later. Yeah, so I checked the number of duplicates for my data. As per now, I don't have duplicate values. Nice. And now here comes we're almost cruising there. I have the event. Now, if you really check about on the summary statistics, allow me to go back. As you, one thing with machine learning, or rather when you're training this data set, as you're coming to train your model, you're now able to understand what you're focusing on. Like in this case, our target variable is events. That means if we have a 0, the event didn't happen. But if we have like a 1, the event happened. So I tried to check, because now in this case, event is our target variable, which you can see here in my summary statistics. We have events either 0 or 1, 0 or 1. So now on the count of events, I was able now to check what are the values that are present in that column. And as you can see, it's correct, 0, 1, 0, 1. Yes, somebody was raising a question. Yes, you can unmute. Sorry, somebody was talking. Okay,
No,
nobody.
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, yeah.
Okay, yeah, we are cruising nicely. So, and now here comes now the thing. So after I identify my target variable, which is event, I'm now able also to dig deep. Let me understand what this target variable of mine, which is event, what it is. So I try to check at the value counts. And as you can see, I can see that the number of events that are 0 that won't happen are 152. And the number of events that will happen are 69. So I go ahead also and check the number of unique values that are present in that variable. And basically it will give you an array where it basically gives you whether an event happens, it's 0, and when an event didn't happen, it's 1. So I think that's enough for the first type digging of our data set. Now, I want us to now visualize our data, because we said we've imported Matplotlib and we've imported Seaborn. I now want to really understand what's the correlation between this variable and this variable. And now I'll be using some figures. And we always say that people remember visuals, not words. So yeah, so who has a question before we now do our visualizations? Yeah, just unmute and ask a question. It's not hard, guys. It's not hard. I know the data set is way too big, but it's something that we can manage. It's not hard. So you can unmute and tell me what didn't you get before we now go to our visualization. We are cruising on nicely,
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yes, ask Nora.
Are we supposed to combine the train and the test?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, you can do that later as you now starting to train your model. But for now, we're trying to just understand. We just try to understand what is in the train, what is in the test. Try to see in the train what are the relationships variables between this column and this column.
In each data set individually.
Yeah, exactly. Because now way later is when we'll match them. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Georgina is asking, how did you determine the target variable? So what I can say, like last time we explained what we should expect. And basically what we should expect is that we should expect that the probability of the fire hitting at 12 hours, at 24 hours, at 36 hours, at 48, at 72. That's what we said. Like that is what we're expecting. We're expecting to gain a probability. Yeah, it's the same data set that I'm using. Yeah, we're expecting to gain. Yeah, we're getting there. Come on. Umeenda mbali sana, Tami. We're getting there. So we just did the nini. So let me first answer whoever asked how I got the target variable. So that is what I said. Like in our model, the final thing is that we're expecting a probability between the 12 hour, the 48 hours, the 72 hours. Like we're expecting a probability that when a fire hits, this is the probability by 12 hours, by 72 hours. So if we're expecting that, we already know, and I explained last time, that our target variable will be the probability as well as the event. So that is how I knew. Plus, the more you dig the data, the more you're trying to gain insights from the data, you know that this is a prediction thing. So this is a prediction model. So you already know that we're supposed to have that target variable with us. Somebody also asked, are the heat maps good to check relationships? Yeah, they are. We're getting there. We have a correlation matrix, a heat map, a histogram, and the rest. I was able to do that. Are we supposed to do categorical encoding for the target variable? Yeah, you can do categorical encoding. You know, the good thing with ML, like I'll train my model through this, you'll train yours through this. I'll use a different algorithm. That's why I was asking you guys. Or maybe if you've done something on the EDA, please let us know on the chat so that we can compare notes and see like which relationship between this variable is. Let us get to see like what's happening between your variables. That's the beauty with data. You're trying to play with the numbers. Yeah, you can do that. So yeah, thank you for your question. So I think we're cruising on nicely. So we go now to the visualization bit. Now in my target variable, this is a cat plot. And as you can see, I said people remember visuals than what they had. And as you can see, like in this case, I have a class imbalance. Like you see, 0 has the fewer number of events are high than the number of events that would happen. And here I was able to just come up with a comment where I said the target variable for our survival analysis displays the frequency of wildfire incidents, which is based on whether they reach an evacuation zone within the 72-hour observation window, where the event 0 is right censored, and the event 0 represents fire that did not threaten an evacuation zone. And then the event 1 is whatever was observed, and this one represents fire that did come within the 5 kilometers. So in short, we have a class imbalance, and because the data shows that hits are relatively rare compared to those ones that did not hit. So are we guys correct? As you can see, like the 0 is high than the 1. So you guys are okay with that? The moment you understand that cat plot, why the event it's in balance, you'll be able to now analyze your models from there. So you guys